In the Portal series and Left 4 Dead series, we put story in the safe room. In meaning that in the beginning of a puzzle or at the end of a puzzle, you'll get some story in Portal. In Left 4 Dead, most of the story is conveyed inside of safe rooms. And there's a reason we do that. I want to talk about that for a minute because it's part of this broader conversation I was having on Blue Sky about the idea of delivering information to the player in the game and doing it in a way that's not annoying. Because you can have characters tell you what to do, and sometimes that's annoying. And so let's talk about that. I'm kind of curious where people fall on this. So in the Portal and Left 4 Dead series, like I said, we purposely put it story in the safe room so that in the world for Portal 2 co-op, I think there's only once GLaDOS says something. I think. It was controversial. We had a big conversation about it. I don't think I find out there's some other place she says something, but I'm pretty sure there's only one. And then in Left 4 Dead, we do jokes and stuff along the way. But most of what you're doing is you're calling out enemies, you're calling out health, you're calling out a bunch of stuff. And then one thing we can do with those characters is we can have them call out really helpful stuff like, hey, Francis, heal up, or get into the safe room, and those kind of things. And we could do those, I think, because the characters, you already have this relationship with them that they're funny. Even if, Bill's going to be grumpy, he's grumpy in a funny, lovable way. And so you like these characters. And so when they're yelling at you, do these things, it doesn't feel like they're reprimanding you or commanding you. Because one of the things we found out in the Half-Life series was, and this isn't to say you're a bad person for this, but this is just a thing we saw, and I think I fall into this maybe as well, is for a lot of guys, a woman telling you to do something grates on you in a different way. And so when we had Alex as the sidekick, we had to kind of watch how she talks about you. And it's one of the reasons why she's so complimentary to you. Guys like that. She's too complimentary in Half-Life Episode 2. That's my fault. I take blame for that. But otherwise, that works pretty well. But for the Left 4 Dead series, the characters being funny with each other was an important choice, because you want them to be able to tell the other character what to do. And since it's telling the other character, not the player, and the player just, gets that information of like, oh yeah, I should use my health kit, it doesn't feel so egregious. And I think it works. We also do some jokes and some conversation during the game outside of the safe rooms. And I do this in the Anacrusis as well, but they're always light and they're always throwaway, and they can always just be not land with people because you don't have to sit there and listen to them. I was kind of shocked playing another zombie game that just had some big story and big weighty story about, I won't get into that again. I won't pick, but I'm like, we're shooting zombies, man. Shut up. Right? Like, it doesn't work that way for me. So that doesn't work for me. So when you put in the action, you put big story beats, I just want to shoot things. I don't want to deal with trying to process what's going on. You can talk some, and you can give me flavor. You can set up the world so I have an understanding of like, oh, these people hate us or whatever. Or they don't. But like big story beats, or especially background story beats on your character's lore about something that happened to them with their preacher or whatever. That was just weird. His preacher, whatever. You probably know what I'm talking about now. But like that just came out of nowhere, and that felt really awkward. And that also then means I'm not listening to those characters in the same way, because now all of a sudden I don't have that trust that they're going to actually be just delivering me information. Where in Left 4 Dead, in the Anacrusis, we always want to make sure those characters are delivering you information that you can kind of count on. Occasionally, we play a little bit with Lance isn't really always trustworthy. But so I was playing the most recent Indiana Jones. It's a really good game. It is really, really well done. But it made me think a lot about this, because in the first part of the game, you're in, I won't give away much. I'm just going to give away two sections. Germany, or not in Germany, you're in the Vatican. And it's just you on your own. And if you ever get stuck in a puzzle, you can take a picture of the puzzle, and that signals the game that you want a hint. And it's really elegantly done. It is beautiful. I can't believe, like, all games should just now do this. That is a great mechanic. The problem is, when you get to Egypt, you have a sidekick. Sidekick's well written. Sidekick's likable. This is what surprised me. I really liked the sidekick. I thought she was funny. But she prompts me too early. And I didn't like that. And I don't normally talk negatively about games, especially games that are actively out. But it's a really, really good game. You should get it. And this is not going to kill the game for you. But I was surprised by that because I would walk into a room and before I could figure out what I wanted to do and what the puzzle was, she would be talking about the puzzle. And she would be giving me away clues that was kind of telling me what to do. Now they're trying to have her not tell me what to do, but ask questions that told me what to do. But my mom, are you gonna eat everything on your plate? Like I know that tone. Uh, but so that didn't work for me. And it kind of ignored and it broke this great mechanic of like, hey, why not just have her wait to start saying these things until I use the camera? I wonder if they found out people weren't using the camera as much as I was. And sometimes I use the camera even when I knew how to solve the puzzle, just because I was kind of curious to hear how they hinted to solve the puzzle. Because this was always a problem, like in Portal 2, where we had to make sure that, well, some of the puzzles, especially in co-op, had aha moments and it just clicked and then you knew how to solve it. We weren't going to give you hints. You were on your own. So they had to be something that you could have those aha moments. And that, I think, out of anything in any puzzle game that Portal the series gets right is, and it's all testing, is that the puzzles are both difficult enough that you have to think for a moment and yet easy enough that almost everybody has an aha moment. And again, that's just testing. And when I say testing, what I'm saying is that's a lot of money. It's just gobs of money to sit and have a whole team watch people test, which is what we did for the original Portal. At least once a week, often twice a week, we just had everybody sit in the room and watch somebody else play. That's expensive. That's money. That's why not everybody does it. But that worked really well there. And so for the Indiana Jones game, I was kind of surprised that they resorted to that. And they're smart enough developers that I wonder, like, I want to know the play tests. I want to know what happened to have that change happen. That's where it really stuck out for me. And then just on some of the puzzles, and there were some different kind of puzzles. So because they do the crazy thing of it's not like they teach you how to do a puzzle and then you do more of those puzzles. Every puzzle's different. they pull out all the stops. It's a really well done game. They take agency away from you a lot, and they do a lot of things that normally drive me nuts in a game. And in that game, I just don't mind it because it's kind of this rolling along with Indiana Jones, which is exactly what I wanted. So, yeah, so I'm kind of curious of what are some examples of games that yell at the player too much to tell you what to do, and then ones that you wish somebody would just tell you what to do. Like, so I'll go back to Tom Clancy, Wildlands again, where they just give you the top level what to do and then nothing else. And like Far Cry series does this as well. I think that's why I like those games, because then you just solve that any way you want. Rarely is it telling you what to do. Where even, I don't want to pick on this game. Other games will have prompts to tell you like, oh, not your end goal. They won't say your end goal, but they'll tell you like, here's your mid goal, here's your mid goal, here's your mid goal, here's your mid goal. And what they're doing is they're taking agency away from you of how you're going to approach that. And to me, that's a puzzle, and you should have agency. So I'm kind of curious. Oh, and by the way, clearly TikTok's back because every other video is an ad or a live. So they're not worried about trying to be nice to us anymore.